Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another video, and today's video is going to be very important for a lot of you guys because a lot of players are currently considering to change their troop focus, and today I want to talk about your plan how to change your focus troops. For example, I'm myself an infantry mage player and I will also change to cavalry mage player, but I can definitely recommend to plan this step far in advance because I have seen a lot of players that saw reports of cavalry being a very strong frontline unit and they changed within a day and just didn't think about it at all and are now working on getting this half-hearted technology running, and they are weaker now than they were before because they didn't plan the step. And so I want to talk today about the very important steps that you should make before you change your focus troops. Alright guys, so let's get into it. One of the first things that you should take into consideration is when you change your troop focus, doesn't really matter what troops you decide for, is to check out for the next best troops passive skill. For example, the odd cavalry has reduced damage from archers by 25%, while the even cavalry has attack increased by 20% when you are attacking. Both of these stats aren't bad, but for your frontline unit you mostly wanted to survive very long to let your angels or your backline deal the game-changing damage. So, for example, in my case, I know that I will first change to cavalry when I reach C40. When we look into infantry, the even infantry is better than the odd one, especially for attacking, because the even infantry has reduced damage from mages by 25%, and that is better than the 15% HP increased when defending from the odd infantry. When we look into mages, the odd mages are better for attacking in my opinion because they deal 30% more damage against cavalry, while the even mages only deal 15% more damage against the opponent's units when you are defending and you're mostly attacking. So it might be interesting to change when you want to change from archers to mages when you can unlock the next odd mage tier. For archers it is the other way around because in my opinion your backline should deal a lot of damage into the opponent's frontline, which is why I think that the even archers are better than the odd one because they deal 30% more damage against infantry, while the odd archers deal 25% more damage against mages. So it is easy to see that one of the main decision points is that you should have an eye on when will I reach the next best troop passive skill. The next thing to take into consideration is definitely the blacksmith level, because you should have an eye on saving as many materials as possible. For example, you are a C30 and you then decide to change from archers to mages as backline unit, then you just would have to forge a whole new set, or you would have to reforge level 30 gear. Take into consideration to change your troop focus when you reach the next equipment step. For example, like you would forge from level 30 to 35, and on C35 for example you would then switch to mages as backline unit, and by that you would have to forge from your level 30 Dusk Ode for example to the mastery staff. By that you save a lot of materials, and this is definitely something that you should take into consideration because you gamble a lot. You try to get a whole set of 30 orange gear to then forge it up by 100% to the level 35 or to level 30, at least in my opinion. And by taking the blacksmith levels into consideration, this can really help you out to save a lot of materials and to keep up with your forging plan. Especially for budget players, the next step is going to be very interesting because you should prepare a pretty good troop count. And what do I mean by that? I know it from my current situation that I have a lot of infantry, but I only have few cavalry, and when I want to change to cavalry, and if I would do it right now, I would have no troops, and then I would have to speed a lot of cavalry just to be able to play what I want to play. So what I mean by prepare a good troop count is you should definitely check all of your barrack levels and find out how you can prepare for your next step. For example, in my situation, I wanna change to cavalry as soon as I reach C40. So what I'm doing now is stocking up a lot of tier 11 cavalry to promote those, or to speed promote those to tier 13 when I reach C40, and by that when I stock up a lot of tier 11. Now I will have a pretty good troop count then, because promotion doesn't take that much time as recruitment, and by that I will get way more out of all of my recruitment speeds than if I would just speed recruit troops right now. So definitely take that into consideration, especially when you're a budget player, because speeds, you run pretty fast out of recruitment speeds depending on your kingdom situation and how actively you play Void and all of that stuff. So prepare a good troop count. Don't forget that you can promote troops and that you can recruit troops. You can recruit different tier levels and just promote them, and by that I already have stocked up 200k of tier 11 cavalry, and those I will speed promote as soon as I reach C40. And let's say, for example, I will be able to play with round about 2 marches with cavalry as a frontline unit. So by now you should have found out when you want to change your next, or when you want to change to a new troop combination. And now we will come to the fine tuning when it comes to your technology, because currently we have just talked about when you want to change it. But now you want to be an efficient player and you want to be strong, so you have to take deeper looks into the technology. What I can definitely recommend to ask yourself is, what's going to be your future weakness? For example, odd mages are very strong against cavalry. Or let's say even archers are strong against infantry, and you need to prepare for that. And you need to ask yourself, how do I counter my future weakness? One thing that you can do is definitely have a look into your enhancements. For example, you know that mages are very strong against cavalry. So what you can do is take a look into your enhancements. For example, on my helmet and on my chest, I have infantry HP and infantry defense. And what I am going to do is have an eye on these enhancements, and when I recast them, I will try to find reduced damage from mages to counter my future weakness. This also counts for infantry or any other troop combination that you want to make playable. Ask yourself, okay, what's going to be my weakness and with which enhancements can I counter them? And when you are getting close to the point that you want to change your troop focus, stock up in obsidian steel, because recasting is expensive and there's only a chance that you will find the enhancement that you really need to be efficient. You should stock up in obsidian steel to make it possible to get the wanted enhancement within the amount of obsidian steel that you have stocked up and in the best situation during the day when you are changing. Another thing that you should ask yourself is, what are important requirements to make this troop combination playable? For example, we all know that the dodge skill for cavalry is a must-have, and also reduced damage from mages is very important to make this troop combination playable. So stock up in Azeroth chests and try to hunt more monsters. Maybe right now work on more stamina regeneration so you can hunt more monsters, and by that stock up your Azeroth chests just so you can make sure to have the dodge skill within a short amount of time on a pretty high level to make a troop combination playable. In my personal opinion, also damage reduction for infantry or for your whole army is very important to make infantry playable. Infantry gets a lot of hits when you're especially playing with the odd tier, and when you're attacking, this troop type isn't really that good for being the attacker, so you will take the full amount of damage from all different kinds of units. So damage reduction for infantry is a very good thing, which you can, for example, research with the toughness skill or maybe find in the Aspis artifact. Ask yourself, what are important requirements for my troop combination, and make sure that you get them as soon as you change your troop focus. So now we will take a look into the array. When you are going to change your troop focus, you need to ask yourself, okay, which artifacts can I reset? And I will change from infantry mages to cavalry mages, so I am for sure that I will reset the Aspis artifact. It has been a very good artifact for a very long time, and it still is for the infantry mage combination, but for cavalry mages it loses almost all of its stats or helpful stats. So this is going to be an artifact that I will reset. Make sure to only reset the artifacts that you really don't need anymore, because you will only get back 95% of the invested artifact EXP EXP, 5% are going to be lost. So you really have to take a deep look into every artifact and think for yourself and ask yourself, do I really need to reset this artifact? I am for sure that I will reset the Ask Peace artifact, and an artifact that I have also discussed a lot with my friends about is the Garnizang Moget. It's an artifact that on the first look is really interesting for infantry players, and yes, it is. It is very good, it is very strong because almost all stats on it are very helpful for infantry, but I will try to play this artifact as a cavalry frontline player, and for the following reason. Yes, HP boost on the base stat is very good also for cavalry. On the 4th star we have cavalry attack, of course not the thing that we actually want in our frontline, but on the 5th star we have damage reduction for army, and this is something that I see in my future technology way more because damage reduction for army is very strong. And also the 2nd and the 3rd star aren't that bad because, as I have said earlier, I still have a lot of infantry and I hope not to lose them, and if I'm in a non-loss event and I get stacked, my opponents will run into a lot of infantry, and then having these two stats, it won't be completely useless for me. Of course, for the attacking side I will only have 3 stats that will help me out, like the HP boost, the cavalry attack and the damage reduction for army when I have the Garnizang Moget on the 5th star, but these are the reasons why I will try to play this artifact as a cavalry mage player. As I have also said in other videos, I'm not fusing artifacts that I don't need and that I don't play. So maybe some of you have seen that I have fused the Kellet Witch because this artifact is something that I will definitely include into my array, and I'm currently working on it. I'm gathering fragments for it and I try to stock up in orange fragments so I can at least play with it on the 3rd star to unlock the lightning ball skill. It is a skill that I think is very interesting. I want to have the chance to stun the opponent's units, so I am also working on this artifact. What I want to say with all of that is take a look into your array, ask yourselves which artifacts can I reset, which artifact should I give chance, as I just said for my example with the Garnizang Moget, and just clean up your array and invest the artifact EXP that you are getting now into artifacts that you can use now with, in my case, for example, the infantry mage combination, but also later into an artifact that you will use as cavalry mage player. So what I'm doing currently, I'm investing all of my artifact EXP into the Excalibur. This artifact is very flexible and universal, so it will definitely stay in my arrays, so I'm currently investing all of my artifact EXP into this one. All in all, clean up your array and decide for yourself now which artifacts do you want to throw out of your array, which do you want to keep in your array, and then go and start working on artifacts now. Even if you know I'm still 5 castle levels away from my troop change, but prepare now and be ready when the day comes. Okay guys, I hope that all of these tips will help you out with your future troop change. Let me know what combination you are currently playing and what combination you want to play in the future. I'm very interested about that, and then I would say see you in the next video. Goodbye guys.